Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending on where you're listening from or watching from. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 88 podcast. Yes, 88 podcast. And I'm so delighted to have with me a good friend of mine, all the way from SA, South Africa, the first Nigerian to climb Mountain Kilimanjaro. He's showing up. He's an expert in the area of the mind. He has a PhD. His CV is precedes him, and I'm so honored to have a gentleman called the Awesome Coach, Dr. Awesome Joshua. Great to have you on Leadership Talk with Adegoke.
It is a great day, my good sir. Delighted to be here, and greetings to your viewers, listeners, wherever it is they are chiming in from across the globe.
Thank you so much. Before we start the session, I'd just like to do some commercial. We have a podcast sponsor, which is Work Central NG. It's a virtual workspace based in Lagos, Nigeria, that the sponsors of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. You can find them on Work Central NG. That's a website, Work Central NG, and they're really adding so much value in the SME space. So it's such a privilege, to have them sponsor us, and it's such an honor. Thank you so much, Dr. Joshua. Awesome. Now tell us, who is Dr. Joshua Awesome?
Joshua Awesome is a human flourishing consulting group owner. I am also a coaching psychologist and the founder of African Institute of the Mind, which is a mental health advocacy, support, and treatment organization that helps Africans to mind their minds from whatever stressors or stresses they tend to find themselves in. In some cases, some people are experiencing anxiety, trauma, post-COVID stress, amongst others. From a combined add-on or communique, I would say I have put 24 years of my life into supporting people and professionals. I think I actually stopped counting after we had supported over 100,000 persons across the continent and across the world. So that is who I am. And going forward, one of the things that I'm really looking forward to doing is to support people from a mind space, mental agility, flourishing perspective, because if we are going to have better lives or a better world, it begins with having better brains.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke. We look at leadership from different perspectives. The last session that we had was leadership and allergic diseases in Africa, and it was such an awesome session. Now, this is also promises to be, very powerful. I have no doubt, because of your pedigree and your track record globally, what you're doing in the speaking space and also transforming lives. Now, I want you to speak to this. How did you come into leadership?
So how did I come into leadership? I think first and foremost for me was about finding myself. And the moment I found myself, what it basically did was it helped me to be able to lead me. And as I lead me, I'm able to bring that leading me into the world that then enables me to be able to then lead others.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's so cool, because for many years I couldn't even lead me. Talk less of leading others. But as fate will have it, I'm leading in so many areas, and it's such an honor. It's something I don't take lightly. Just before you came in, we came into this session, because sometimes even as leaders, people think that we're superhumans, but they don't know that we are on a journey, and for leaders to continue to add value, they must continue, to have that teachable spirit, to continue to learn. And that's why I've seen the trajectory for you in the last maybe 2 decades of how you continue to grow yourself. I mean, the journey to Kilimanjaro, the mountain climbing, is also a leadership journey, which is for another day. So now, what's the relationship between leadership and the mind? Because we're going to be looking at leadership and mind, the mind
Right.
today.
If you recall, when you asked me that question of how I, emerged into leading and leadership, I spoke about leading me. Um, the one thing I always try to get every patient, client, executive group that I get the privilege to work with to realize is that everything begins with you. You are the number one. And this body of mine, this awesome body of mine, this awesome mind of mine is going to live in this house for as long as I am on the planet. And that's one very important thing that we need to tie towards leadership. Okay, so if my body is not being led right, I really cannot claim to be able to take this body, this brain, this mind, this heart towards leading others. In other words, I need to first and foremost find peace in me before I can unlock it in others. I need to lead my inner landscape into a place and space of peace that then helps me to purposefully help, support, and lead others. And if you ask me, how does that really connect? I'm an acronym and acrostic guy. So when I typically get to work with a person from a mind perspective, from a brain health perspective, I follow an interesting acronym that guides me into that engagement, that journey, that consultation, that coaching psychology conversation. And I begin with M. M in mind means mental health.
Yeah.
All right. I in mind talks to inflammation, but also can be linked to immune system problems. Okay. And then N talks to neurohormone issues. And then D can then focus on diabetes. And when we break all of this down, the reality is that there is no way you can have a better life if you don't have a better brain. Okay, so that's where we need to adopt brain healthy habits so that we make sure we are then fit within ourselves. And then that healthy you, healthy me is then able to bring our best self towards supporting and helping others. Again, that also talks to the immune system. If you are experiencing inflammation, and the word inflammation is a combination of inflame, which is like fire. I mean, if you have fire burning within you, it's already affecting and impeding, inner health, inner well-being. And those become limiting factors, towards you being able to function in a state that I say would help bring you into what I call a flow state.
Wow.
Be able to bring your best self, to bring the
Hmm.
energy that really literally lights up a room if
Wow.
there's darkness, as it were, bringing that positive passion and paradigm that is helping you to be able to support people. But it always begins with you. All right.
Wow.
So maybe I'll pause there and just
That's a good one. I know you so,
question.
I can feel the energy. I'm far away, but I'm almost beginning to combust, to catch fire. you know I love the energy, and that's why I love being around you, and I salute your sagacity, your authenticity, and also the fact that you just show up even at short notice, and you continue to add value. Thank you so much, sir. Now I want you to speak to this. What happens to a leader whose mind is disturbed, is not properly coordinated? What happens? What's the consequence of a
Right.
leader having the mind disturbed? Yeah.
As you ask that question, I'm reminded of a board of a global brand that I supported.
Yeah.
And the reality is that that global brand's board members, even though they work for the same organization, they represent the same organization, they were not in cohesion.
Wow.
Right. And so what I needed to do to be able to help shift that was that I had one-on-one contact conversations
Wow.
with
Awesome.
these individuals so as to help me gain clarity on how I am able to help them come together to have challenging conversations.
Wow. Awesome.
And for that to happen, I needed to first and foremost get clarity about where the mind of each leader is.
Wow.
And in getting clarity on where each leader's mind is, that drone view then helps me to be able to piece each perspective
Together.
for all the leaders to then be in cohesion. Which leads me to the N in mind acronym that I explained earlier, which is the neurohormone. Okay, so if the neurohormone is not healthy, sorry, if the neurohormone is not healthy, the mood is not stable. Okay, there is no less anxiety. It's not able to create sharper focus. And these are bits and pieces in every mind that I tend to want to support so that they can mind their minds and then bring the group into cohesion. That in a way, if they were a choir, they are then able to sing from the same hymn sheets.
Wow. Now, I want you to, I'm really enjoying this. This is good stuff. If you're just joining us, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 88 podcast. And my guest on this session is Dr. Joshua Austin. As a leadership and a mind expert, as a coach, so many areas of his life rolled into one. I told him just before we came on that he operates in different time zones: EST, CST, WAT, all the time zones. So he's the man of every season. So I just want you to speak to three things that a leader needs to do to have a stable mind or high impact mind.
So I think the first thing for a leader to have, is to first and foremost recognize that one's level of awareness needs to be raised.
Wow.
Because once your level of awareness is raised, you are approaching other leaders other minds from a non-judgmental space and place. Because what it does is that it helps you to see outside your own lenses alone. And that then brings you into a very interesting space where, as much as your view is important, other views are equally important, which kind of gives you a drone view, and it comes from a place of deep awareness. So when your level of awareness is raised, and for that to happen, you need to be in a new level of consciousness as a leader. So as a conscious leader, there's a shift that happens in the way you view people, you view situations, you view challenges.
That's so good. Yeah. Are you good? I think your network is frozen a bit. I think it should be able to come back in. Yes, that's quite interesting. I'm sure that our guest will be coming back in very shortly. Been having a good time with Joshua Awesome. But it's been a great one, and we've been looking at leadership and mind, and it's been an amazing session. We're just going into the deeper side, and definitely it's going to be an amazing session. But it's so interesting, this session. But I'm trusting that we can still get our guests back on the session. But if not, we'll believe that at least you've gotten some value on the mind and leadership. So it's been quite interesting, But I'm sure our guest is back on. Yeah. You're good to have you back.
My sincere apologies.
Yeah.
Well,
it's okay.
They always say what can go wrong will go wrong. And sometimes we don't have control over some of these things. My sincere apologies about that break.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, it's all about the mind. The mind has to stay focused, even when when there's a recalibration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And which is a very important piece towards pathway in to the possibilities, where we recognize that we don't have full control over everything that will happen. And what I was saying was that the first thing is that every leader needs to raise their level of awareness.
Okay.
And for that to happen, the brain needs to be optimized. Okay. And that's where blood flow comes in. Okay, so blood flow is the next piece. Okay, so A is for awareness, B is for blood flow, which leads to brain health. Okay. And for me, one very important piece, which is a very, very important one, is getting to rest the body. Okay. Sleep. And I recollect once I was in a session with a client of mine. he had come in and had a lot of allergies, drops being put into his eyes because his eyes were teary during the session I was having with him. And he was saying to me, no, I'm not crying. I'm just having some allergies, and my GP had given me this allergy drops. And we then carried out a stress assessment. When we did the stress assessment, I then realized that he had lost about 46 days of sleep during the pandemic. Now, that affected his rhythm. And so what was required was for him to get more sleep, because more sleep meant it was going to restore his health so that he could wake up feeling healthier, he could wake up feeling less stressed, and get his inner landscape into a new level of resilience. And this for me are very important pillars. Why are these pillars important? Because sleep itself helps the body to recover, to get restored, to get revitalized, to get rejuvenated. And it's like an engine, the engine of a car. If it keeps firing, it gets to a place where it eventually breaks down. It needs to pause, and that pause is a place of reset. Think about it. We had a short break in transmission. What I simply did when the connection was getting a bit buffered and was bugging out, I simply tried to restart my connection to check what the issue is. Many times when things are frozen, freezing, not progressing, that pause is a place for us to restart, refresh, reconnect. And itself is a prefix that helps us to recognize that we can only get to enjoy the connection when we go back to that place we had lost it. And that's why sleep in itself is taking us back to the energy bag, the being within us that really needs that nurturing, the child, the inner child that needs to experience a safe space through that cocooned, calm connection that will help bring us back to the peak that we all should be operating from.
Okay, so what's the second point? The second way.
The second one was brain health.
Okay, brain health. Okay.
Yeah. Every one of us needs to realize if we want better lives, we need better brains. Brain health. You cannot achieve anything worthwhile if your brain is not healthy. So you and I need to look after ourselves. We need to look after our brains. We need to watch what we eat. We need to watch what we drink. We need to watch what we think. A chiropractic doctor friend of mine in Texas puts it this way. You need to eat right, poop right, and everything will be all right. I would say it's this way. You need to sleep right, wake right, think right, talk right, eat right, poop right, move right, and it's just a matter of time. Everything will be all right.
Wow. That's a good one. I know that you're always coming up with these juices. Excellent. I can imagine the encyclopedia in your brain, just releasing a lot of nuggets. Yeah. So we're almost getting to a close because I know that you're a very busy gentleman, and I really want to appreciate you for coming on this platform, to spend some time with us. on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. Once again, I have the privilege of hosting Dr. Joshua Awesome on leadership and the mind. Now, there might be one leader out there that just needs one thing, that leader can do right now. I know there are a lot of mental health issues. People are going through stuff, globally, with the pandemic. What is that one thing a leader can do now, Dr. Joshua?
So I would say to everyone who is watching and wondering, what is that one thing that I can do? All right. It will be to go back to the basics. The basics will then, for me, will be G is for genetics. Okay, so go back and check. Okay, because many times people feel that their genes is a death sentence. Oh, family history, this, and all this stuff. But the reality is that we have realized that your genetics is not a death sentence. Okay, simply a wake up call, and it should begin to guide you on the type of nourishment that you need to, be aware of, that you need. Okay, remember A is for awareness. And my second one was B is for brain health, and S is for sleep. Okay, so if you look at it, it's like an anti-lock brake system. Okay, to be able to navigate you along your life path and journey. So get to understand whatever genetic history you come from, but let it simply be a source of awareness, wake-up call, and then seek for the right kind of help that will lead you on the path that you want to go.
Awesome.
Many people sometimes worry about their history. Your history should not, determine your future. You can shift that by your level of awareness and giving the right brain health and support towards your brain, so that you're able to then sleep right and step into the future that you dream of, that you desire. I mean, I think about the work that I do towards helping people flower and flourish. I use certain type of therapies in my practice in South Africa to basically help people realize that we can create that shift. We can support you towards getting into a flow state. But it really truly begins with you being aware of your current stress levels, your current brain health, your current state of mental health. And that shift is possible. And it always begins with, with you and making the right choices and decisions that could help you flower and flourish.
Awesome. Now, just two more questions. If our listeners want to connect with you, how can they reach out to you?
My direct email is joshua@theawesomecoach.com. That's the best way to reach out to me. And I always get my email responded to. I mean, I'm traveling at the moment doing some consultation work in some other parts of Africa. However, one thing that we always do is we eventually circle back to people. I'm also findable on LinkedIn. Okay, you will find me. Joshua O Awesome is the name on LinkedIn. And at Awesome Coach is my Twitter handle. If I don't circle back to you in 24 hours, please allow 48 to 72 hours. Eventually, you will hear from me or my office, and it will be a pleasure to take it forward to support you in every way required.
Awesome. I keep on saying awesome. I think I've already caught the bug of the awesome, awesome gentleman in front of me, Dr. Awesome Joshua.
Thank you.
Yeah. So finally, who are your mentors?
So over time, I have had the opportunity to be mentored by a couple of leaders and persons who've gone ahead of me. My direct mentor, who is late now but still leading from his grave, by virtue of the impact that he has had on the planet, is the late Dr. Miles Monroe.
Okay.
Direct leadership and mentoring access to him. And I used to travel with him, I recall, to do some engagements locally and abroad. I also look up to the father of trauma, Dr. Marcel van der Kolk,
Okay.
author of the book the Body Keeps the Scores. I've been speaking a lot about brain health, and one of those that I look up to in the industry is Dr. Daniel Amen.
Okay.
Triple board certified psychiatrist and doctor who practices out of the United States of America. Of course, here in Africa, I look up to, and I'm privileged to look up to Dr. Mongezi Makalima, who, interestingly, we are both board members of the African Board for Coaching, Consulting, and Coaching Psychologists. I'm grateful for this gentleman and for his dedication and consistency for the consulting, the coaching psychology world, which I'm privileged to be a part of. These are some of the people that I look up to in the industry.
Awesome.
And I'm deeply
Excellent.
the opportunity.
Excellent. So you've heard it from the man. You know, this is Leadership Talk with Adegoke, the 88th podcast. Yes, 88th podcast. And it's been an honor having on this session Dr. Joshua Awesome. The session has been about leadership and the mind. Leadership and the mind. So till same time, next time, stay blessed. You want to say bye-bye to the audience?
I typically like to say, whatever you do, please don't just take care, take charge.
Take charge. You've heard it from him, take charge. So till same time, have a great time.